Everyone, welcome to the Darker Tanned Asians podcast. I'm your host, Victor, alongside Omar, standing at a stout 6'6",
6'9", and tall heels.
Yeah, and 7 feet in stripper heels.
Oh, yeah, 7 foot, yeah. But those ones they're a little too skinny for to hold up my heavy ass. I don't know.
Well, I see worse. Anyways, we have a special guest today, man. My friend, martial artist, actor, Tech Lee.
Oh, which way he's pointing, I don't know yet. It's over there.
What's going on,
guys? Tech is a veteran fight choreographer, an actor. He's based out of Colorado. I got a chance to meet him in Vegas, doing a film, and homies for life, man. This guy's real deal, true, professional. Really down to earth and very helpful. You know what I mean? I learned a lot from him, even in that span of a couple of days. So, Tech, welcome. Tech. Tell us, man, what's your martial arts background? How did you get into it? And what are some of your influences? Who are some of your influences?
Oh, that's a story in itself, to be honest. But, I started initially when I was 8 in Taekwondo.
Nice.
Trained that up until about 13. I went to Junior Olympics. I got a gold and a silver medal. So once I did that, I think at that mentality, when you're training from 8 to 13, you get bored. You're a little kid. You're just getting into your teenage years. You're getting into your puberty. Things are changing, and you kind of lose interest a little bit. And then the school kind of left a bad flavor in my mouth. Different story in itself about my black belt there for the testing. Kind of dicked over my family. So whatever. So we left. So I took a break, got into other things, growing up, getting into junior high and everything. And I revisited martial arts later back in high school when I was, around 16 years old. Still remember my roots of everything I was coming back from. And I actually, met some of my really best friends now and got into the tricking, because tricking back then just started. You know what I mean? From Ernie Reyes Jr., West Coast demo team. They just started doing things, you know what I mean? They pioneered all the crazy tricks and everything too. So, I mean, you're still on dial-up trying to watch these fucking NASCAR videos.
It's like freaking loading like this.
So trying to learn all that stuff. So essentially, long story short, I got into international sport karate, and it was a mixed school. So this school that we went to, that they were going to, we actually all ended up going there and training ourselves, and we would train at the parks, and we were just obsessed with learning these tricks, learning different martial arts. Because my other friend was a black belt in Taekwondo. His name's James Hill, did very good martial artists. And my other friend Max Janjit, he was at this school. So I mean, this school had an integration between jiu-jitsu, aikido, kempo, and a lot of mixed martial arts in tune to the school. So we all went there, learned a lot of elements of a lot of different martial arts there.
Okay, check really quick. Where did you grow up at?
Oh, it was Aurora, Colorado.
Aurora, Colorado. Okay, right outside of Denver.
Yep, right outside of Denver.
Okay.
And so we ended up having a demo team, a martial art demo team, doing the tricks and demonstrations and creating our own forms for about 14 years. So I got back into it heavily at 17, back into the schools and learning stuff. And from there, like I said, as far as martial art background, like I said, it was a little bit of everything. But we got into a little bit of arnis, got into some Kali while I was there, some knife stuff. And then they integrated later. Some other guest instructors came in. We started learning Lima Lama, which is Polynesian martial art. It's kind of like Krav Maga.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah, okay. I just looked. I've been looking that one up. Yeah.
So I did a little bit of that. A little bit of kempo, a lot of karate. But the thing that was great about karate was it was so open that you could kind of integrate everything else, and I like that. And growing up, as far as you saying influences, at the time when you grow up, of course, everybody's into Bruce Lee because, I mean, one, you're Asian, two, there's not a lot of Asians at the time that were big, you know what I mean? And then just the what he did, the pioneer martial arts, he will always be a legend for that.
Yeah.
So of course there's that, and of course Jackie Chan in his younger years when he was going through everything that he did, that was all crazy. Yeah. But as far as influences, as you get older and as you learn more things change. People change, you know what I mean? And you start getting influenced by more and more modern people. So you start looking into Donnie Yen and Jet Li came at a later date. You know what I mean? But skill level movies.
Oh, great. Jesus.
And then if you look at now, look how long it took him. But I mean, he was always around. Scott Atkins. Amazing martial artist.
He's now getting respect. Yeah, now he is.
Yeah, but he was awesome, amazing, even in his older movies, those cheap flicks.
Yeah, I like my favorite of his. I mean, besides the Boyka, was the Ninja movies. I mean,
that
it
was
felt like
too.
Nostalgia, but Ninja 2 is definitely an underrated movie too.
Oh, absolutely. Or Michael Jai White. He's an amazing martial artist, and he's got so many disciplines, but he's underrated.
I like that dude a lot too, but he not to put any bad press about there, but he was on a talk show or a podcast talking about how he could what if I say Shaolin style is not real, and he said he could beat Bruce Lee in a fight, and because he's like 130 pounds, and it's like, you're a martial artist, don't you know that weight doesn't really matter when it comes to skills if you know what you're doing? I mean, there's some play into it, but like if the guy knows how to move you around, it doesn't matter how much.
Yeah, leverage and weight and speed. Speed equals power. Look at Bruce. Right. He was small, but he fought a lot of bigger people. Yeah. And again, people always want to sit there and compare, apples to apples, oranges to oranges, you know what I mean? Or it's hard to say. It's case by case scenario, time of day. Like I said, we were saying that earlier, like every dog has his day. You know what I mean? There's always somebody better and there's always somebody worse. You're not going to win them all. No, so you got to be humbled with that stuff. And then it's funny because as I got older into the tournament circuit, when we were doing karate, it was in Colorado Karate Association that we competed in I competed from 1999 all the way to about 2006. And I got some state champion titles in 2000, 2001, 2003, and 2004.
Damn.
So that was in that realm. But during that realm, again, like I said, we're trying to learn these tricks. Like, I mean, you can YouTube all these tricks, and the trickers these days are insane. But back then, there's only so many people doing it. So I was very influenced by the upcomers, like I said, Ernie Reyes Jr. John Valera was a huge influence in my life. He's one of the main people on 8711 stunt team right now.
That one's an awesome team, yeah. Before I get to the next question, I was going to comment on what you said too. Like that's actually how I always seen the moves, and I didn't know what it was called until I got, I started looking into it more, because I just thought it was like part of the martial arts, because then I started watching like Only Strong, the Mark Dacascos, the Capoeira stuff, and that was like, oh, that's what that is. Because I would like, so I would like watch, like before YouTube, I'd watch movies and see a move I like. They say Jackie Chan or something. Like that's how I learned how to do the it's a Taekwondo kick, but the tornado kick,
Oh, the 540.
Yeah, like not a full 540. This is where you jump up and you like throw the fake leg. You fake them out with the first leg, you come around with the roundhouse.
Oh, okay. So the tornado. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. And I watched Jackie Chan do it, and so I was like, "Oh, that's pretty dope." So what I do is I like, because this makes me sound even older. I was watching it on VHS, and I would like
slow motion,
rewind, slow motion, rewind. I'm like, okay, so I get the mechanics down, and I'm trying to do it. And then jump forward now, like you said, YouTube. Like if I want to learn like I was trying to learn how to do a butterfly kick and some other stuff, and so I'd watch the guy. He would like really step by step. He'd show you like you put on one foot. You go up like that, and then he'd like show you step by step, like in what you could without wire work, of course. But like he would show you it works. But it took definitely it took a lot longer. Yeah, tricking is definitely one of those things where
and
you feel it.
It's so cool to watch the evolution of like the beginning from when it was nothing to now when it's like everywhere. You know what I mean? So it's just like, damn. Like that was impressive. You're part of that growth, and we were part of that growth in the tournament circuit. And that's why our team was so big, because not too many people were doing that here. We had people that wanted us to teach them. We had, a fan base. Even if we win or lose, we'd have a hell of a ton of people just at the tournaments just rooting us on because they knew Team High Flyers. Right. That was our team, and we were killing the circuit. You know what I mean? So
and this one it's a two-parter, but it's one part, 1.5. I don't know, whatever. Anyway, speaking of that, like, how did your martial arts background help you get into the film industry? I mean, besides like the obvious, like what is like how did you? Because like what was Kevin, he was saying like that helped me big time. So like some people they don't want to be like leaning on the martial arts. They want to like become an actor and then like. Oh, like what's his name? Like, oh, by the way, I can know how to kick people's asses and do moves, do flips and shit. So like, what is, how was, how did it work for you?
It's funny because it kind of ties back to what I said growing up. There was like 10% Asian around. And I looked a little different because I was so into Bruce Lee that I was wearing sweatpants or sweatsuits
Yeah.
and like water socks. Like they're elementary to middle school, and then
Yeah.
Did you wear the Asics too? Did you wear the Asics?
Oh yeah, the wrestling shoes and everything. You know what I mean?
I got that too.
I was all about being ready and just wanting to portray that, but I was looked at funny. You know what I mean? So I had to go through middle school, kind of like identity crisis. I became like the only Asian kid hanging out with all the black kids, and then I became an inline skater because it was a cool thing to do, and then I was just whitewashed, and then I had to like, and then by the time I got to high school, like, you know, I met the Asian people that, you know, I ended up like, you know what I mean, like teaching me a little bit more about my culture and like who we are, like up to speed modern day, not just like Bruce Lee or whoever, you know. It's crazy, but and by the time I got to high school, I wanted to get into theater because obviously, you know, the movies, Van Damme movies, Jackie Chan movies, you know, Jet Li movies, all that stuff really influenced me. Like, oh, that'd be cool. I want to do that.
Right.
So I started getting into theater, and then within theater, like Kevin, I was getting into musicals. I was getting into like stage combat. I was doing everything. So I did theater all throughout high school, and I did theater in college. And so, and then being a 14-year demo team that we had, that was, you know, performance based, and we started getting like, you know, asked to do like commercials or just like, you know, performances.
Nice. Right.
So that kind of segued a lot of stuff to that. But what was hard was it never really transpired into any movie or film thing because Colorado just wasn't, you know what I mean, a big like thing for like movies like Hollywood or, you know what I mean, how like Atlanta, everything's growing.
It would be a movie that's like skiing or snowboarding or something, probably.
So it kind of it died off a little bit. We tried to do what we needed to do, but then, you know, the team grew up after 14 years. We kind of all kind of did our own thing.
Yeah,
and
life gets in the way.
And it wasn't until I moved to Vegas. So I moved to Vegas in 2014, and I took a break from martial arts because after competing and like, you know, a lot of accidents and like, you know, doing all those things, it takes a toll on your body. And I took a break and then, you know, touched it for a while, and I got to Vegas, and the first thing I was asked when I was, you know, like kind of just, I was doing photography and video and stuff was, hey, you did martial arts? I was like, yeah. They're like, there's this show, a traveling show for like, you know, Avengers and comic book things that are trying to open up. They're like, would you be interested in trying out for a Kato role?
Like Kato?
Yeah, Kato, like Green Lantern Kato.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
Green Hornet.
Yeah.
So
I started training. I started getting back into like trying to get my tricks back, trying to do all this stuff. And that's tough. I wish I wouldn't have stopped for those 5 years because that was hard. But then by the time I started getting it back, that's when I started making my first demo to, you know, change everybody. And I still had it. I wasn't as great as in my prime, but I still had it. Next thing you know, they come back and they're like, bro, you're too big for Kato. Kato was small. And they're like, you're a little too buff for Kato. So they're like, no, we're going to. So I was like, damn. So and
after all that, they wait until then. They're like, we didn't realize, we didn't see your body, I guess. I don't know how they didn't, you know, I mean, I don't go, you know what I mean? I don't know why. So I know, like, you know, the casting directors are different, but why would they wait until after you already got, you know, back your, you know, skills came back and they're like, oh, actually, you're too buff for it. Sorry.
Like, okay, that's cool. But it
that's a compliment.
Started, you know?
yeah. Thanks for the compliment. Yeah,
that's a compliment, but you just don't get it.
I'm like, why can't Kato be that big?
Yeah, exactly, right.
but Tech, you know, so you know, with your martial arts background, and then, you know, you did theater through from high school all the way through college. Okay, so obviously you saw, well, there's a little marriage. We can put that we can put those things together. And I know you as a fight choreographer. Yeah. So how did you get into that? What was, you know, how did that come about?
It's funny because when I started showing that clip that I sent to the people for Kato, people in Vegas knew that I was just getting into it. People knew I was like doing photography, but they had no idea I was a martial artist. And so people started asking me like, hey, do you mind if you come down and maybe help us out with this, you know, fight choreography for this fight scene I'm doing for this HBO thing? Right. You know what I mean? So I met up with these people that I knew on Facebook for a while, and I started helping them like choreograph some people and doing these things. And like, it ended up just being that the guy I was choreographing was a little inexperienced, and it was like a really short time span, and it was for like a really big project. So I'm just like, I don't know if this guy's gonna be able to like, you know, handle it. So and they're just like, well, we asked you to do it, but you look really busy. I'm like, I'll do it. I was just like, they're like, would you? They're like, we didn't want to. I was like, oh, yeah, I'll do it. So it transitioned to me taking over for the role. You know what I mean? And we put some stuff together in it, and it was a good short. And then I started meeting, like I said, that's how I started meeting like Jackie and Charlotte. It was my first time. We did a fight scene together for like a short film real quick. And then they started introducing me to a lot of other people. And it's funny, you know, Chris Marishiro, that's in Neon Sun with us. He's a good friend of mine. He's a good friend of me and Kevin. We're all really good friends.
Yeah.
And I heard Chop's name over and over as the fight choreographer in Vegas, like, you know, a guy to talk to, a guy that's really good and tune in. And I didn't meet him till like a little bit later, but once we met, like we meshed like that. So, and the minute we met and I started meeting the people he was with, like it just exploded everywhere. So I was like, I started getting little scenes here and there. I started doing a lot of like, I was told by my good friend Alberto Triana, which is a Saber Media or Saber Media is how you would say it. He's a really good director. He's a really good, you know, screenwriter. And he's killing the game right now. And he did all the stuff that we were doing recently, like The Hunted. Everything.
Yeah,
so that's
I saw the short. Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, so he's like, you die really well. And that was from like the stage comedy. This just me being a slapstick, you know, me and Kevin were always talking about slapstick comedy and slapstick theater.
Yeah.
You know how to fall, you know how to react, you know, do all that stuff. So for a long time, I was just the fall guy. I was just getting killed or taking, you know, hits and, you know, doing all that. And then it's finally starting to fruition of like me being in more fighting even or everything. But it's funny because myself and what you said, Omar, I'd like to transition into more of like a main character where I have more speaking roles so I can show up in acting. I haven't had the opportunity to really go into a lot of acting. It's just like 1 or 2 liners. Even my character now, Vic, in the Showdown, I don't have that many lines. Yeah, but I killed the shit out of motherfuckers.
And well, we're not going to get to that. But I like how you brought that up. And this is sort of just an impromptu question. But you know, we talked about martial arts. We talked about your fight choreography experience, and you had brought up. So you took theater for a reason. Yeah, it wasn't to like, I'm gonna just see how it is. You obviously had ambition to be an actor, because you know us Asians, we're always typecast, pigeonhole, whatever you call it, like Kevin said, So why is it important for you, especially at this stage, right? We're getting older. I think you and I are the same age. You're about maybe a couple months older than me, right? So why is it at this stage
25
for you?
Right.
Asian don't raisin, baby.
Right, exactly. I haven't heard that one. I like that one. I'm not using that one, man.
You just dated yourself, and you just dated all of us here. So.
That's right. That's all right. That's okay.
But you know, why is it important now to I guess to not concentrate, but to focus on that so much? Why is that important?
It's a big thing to me here is because, like you said, we're always typecasted. We're always looking at a certain role as Asians, you know what I mean? Especially Asian men, the FOB or the weak little nerdy kid or whatever. You see that depicted on TV, except for the martial artists. Especially but the martial artists still didn't get respect because they dubbed us over in some fucked up voice or whatever. So theater, when I was younger, it helped me build my confidence to figure out like to be in front of certain people, to do a lot of stuff, to just build me up as far as being able to express myself, like being in kind of a lost, teenager. I think now as I got older, and it's important, like, here's the thing, like you had a question, I might be jumping ahead, but you said, what kind of advice would I give? And I think for an Asian male actor right now, like it's a hot commodity after like Shang-Chi and Crazy Rich Asians, all that. Right now, the Asian males are a little different caliber on this point. So there's a lot of people that might feel, I don't know if you would say they might feel like they're maybe nervous about it, or they question if they can make it or whatever, because, you know, Asians have that depiction like, everybody has a stereotype they have to go by and they don't want to go by that. But it's important to be confident enough to sit there and say, you know what, there's a role for everybody, but it's not too late. I struggled with that for a long time. I'm like, I'm past the prime of my martial arts status. Like all my friends that are doing all this stuff, like Kevin and all them too, they're a lot younger than me. They're like late 20s. When I was in the late 20s, man, I was killing the game with like technique styles, you know, the tricks and everything. And now that I'm 41, I'm like, I can still do some of the stuff, but definitely not in my prime. But I always felt like, I'm past my prime. I'm not going to be able to do too well. But you have to look at where the film industry is right now. Like action stars, The Rock, Ryan Reynolds, all those guys, they're almost like 50s, you know what I mean? Or like late 40s.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah.
You know, still killing it because they're grown-ass men, and the roles for grown-ass men and superheroes or whatever are a little older. and their mentality is a little different. You appreciate a lot of different things, and you let the young cats do like the wrecks, the falls, the stunts, and that's cool. Half of them just don't want even a speaking role. They just want to be in stunts.
Right.
So you kind of got to know what you want to do and stay confident in the route you want to take. But it's huge now because there's a different space, I think, for Asians right now, and there's definitely with Cobra Kai and like all these martial arts. The martial art thing is finally like it comes in waves. Like martial arts is always there, but it's huge right now with all the Asian influence. So I think it's important.
Like piggyback on that too is also like we kind of like, because since we're all kind of close enough in age that like we grew up in the time period where it's like if you didn't start acting when you're like Macaulay Culkin's age or Elijah Wood, you were pretty much you'd have to play like the father or grandpa or something.
Right.
And nowadays, like you got guys like even though they're not Asian, but like Chris Hemsworth just blew up when he's like in 35 years old. He just became Thor, and then boom, and like all the other people. Or like they have him come back, like Robert Downey Jr. has been around forever, and he had another come back in his 40s because of Iron Man. I mean,
and he came back at his best.
Yeah,
at his best, exactly.
And then like Keanu Reeves is like, he's 50 some years old and he's still doing acting.
He's evolved though. I mean, he has evolved. Just like I hate to bring this up, but Madonna, throughout the last 5 years, 10 years, but from like 80s all the way to 2000s,
she's all over.
Maybe it's not the best example.
I'm gonna say I
was trying to put that in.
That sounds like the analogy right there.
I know. I know. That's
what I'm saying.
I was like, sidekick me across the face. But now I'm like,
no, but to piggyback on that as well too. We here are big proponents of creating your own content. Okay, you probably have heard. How would that benefit, especially like us Asians and our age, if you will, and also just the time, just the platforms, the avenues, the plethora of avenues that's available.
Independent films are taking over ever since. Wouldn't say it's a good thing, but like the pandemic and the lockdown and everything, like that shifted the whole world. But it allowed, it put Hollywood on hold. And it allowed other people to like really create their own content, whether it's social media content or not. But there's allowed a lot of independent filmmakers to actually collaborate their thoughts, their ideas, and like really go after it with everything that was put on hold with like Hollywood and everything else.
Kind of like your guys' movie.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And it's everything that I've been involved in has actually mostly all been independent films and independent avenues. And then if you look at the mainstream these days, in all actuality, everything's either being redone, revisited, or reworked, or whatever. There's nothing original. You know what I mean? So it's just like independent filmmakers are bringing the original content, the different stuff that you see that everybody's like, oh damn, I want to watch that, or that was even better than like mainstream stuff.
And I love
it. It's weird. And like Atlanta's taking the market from Hollywood big time. We know that.
Yeah.
So I think there's a big change in how everything's going. Even like SAG stuff's changing with like, the different like union and stuff and like different rules and regulations. Like the industry is shifting all over.
Yeah. You know what? I want to digress back into the fight choreography. Okay. Because when you and I first met, I just love your professionalism, man, and how you really got like you were boom, right? And we had a couple incidents, man. Obviously, I work closely with you on set because I guess I can give this way, but I had a gun, right? I was handling a gun, and remember a week or two before the incident, there was that unfortunate incident, right? I mean, God rest her soul. Yeah. And then you and I talked about that, and we're like, hey, listen, first time, man, holding this. I know you're a vet. I have to talk to you. I have to communicate with you because I want to make sure we're all safe. And even the people that were involved too, I made sure I talked to them like, hey, listen, just let me know if you're not comfortable with it, and we could just all talk, right?
Absolutely, and that's great.
Yeah. What are, from your experience, okay, what are the do's and don'ts of action acting, of prop work and fight choreography? What can you say are the do's and don'ts, if you will?
You have to treat everything like it's real. I mean, not only is that what you do as an actor, right? Because you're bringing this, to reality. You're bringing this make-believe story to reality. So you have to sell it, right?
Yeah.
So in that, you have to have the same concept and the same mindset. Like, I have to make this fight look real. I have to make this gun and everything. So you have to respect every element in that. And I think that's the same thing when it comes to weaponry. you have to respect. I don't care if it's a plastic gun, if it's a water gun or anything. If you're on set and it's intended to bring this to reality, you treat it like a real gun.
Right.
And me being a, I have my CCW, I, grew up around, a military father, everything too. It's just like, you respect the weapon, you respect the gun, you respect, the authority behind whatever you have in your possession.
Yeah, I've seen that in videos, man.
Yeah, so I bring that to set. Like, you never put your finger on the trigger, unless, you're ready to pull the trigger. You always point down. You don't point it at anybody until, you have all sorts of safety measures, which should always be, checked with everybody, and everybody is on the same page, because like I said, unfortunately, those incidents happen, which they shouldn't be happening anymore because of who they hire for those things. And that goes back to what we were saying earlier, like, fight choreographer versus a stunt coordinator. Like, those things are thrown around so loosely. I can honestly accept to say I'm a fight choreographer. I'll do fight choreography. I might take bumps and wrecks, but that's it. I'm like, if you sit there and say, oh, I'm a stunt man or a stunt coordinator, like Kevin was talking about, like, that's totally different, because like I said, I have really good friends in California, like I said, Charlotte Day and Jackie Gahardy, that are stunt men, stunt women, that are really doing a lot of stuff. But these people are, like we said, getting hit by, taking, hits by cars, high falls, wire work, you know what I mean? And those are like real stunts, stunt driving, all that stuff. So it's just like, you got to be careful how people are just like, oh, you're a stunt guy or this and that. Like, no, but I'm a stunt supervisor, because I'm going to keep you safe and I'm going to follow the rule.
Right.
Those are the big things, regardless what it is. You have to make sure you respect the weapon and respect the fact that there's a lot of different rules. And if you can't follow those rules, then you don't need to be there. Or if you can't be mature enough to understand that, then sorry.
And that's what I love, Omar. When Tech was there, he was he practiced what he's preached, and I felt safe. And again, remember, this is like a week after Tech, the Baldwin incident.
Yeah, I remember that.
So I was paranoid a tad bit. I was a paranoid. I have to admit that. And just knowing Tech was he had CC he was CCW, and he, just the way he operated, just the way he he was very, like, he was a hawk. He made sure, like, I remember the incident, Tech. Somebody went, oh, let me see what that is, and he was just like,
I elbowed the shit out of him.
I'm gonna let me tell you the story. I'm not gonna mention his name, okay? I cut, and I was like, okay, hand the prop back to Tech, and then this a newbie, if you will, a newbie came on. I was like, oh, let me see, let me check that out. Tech. Boom. Mind you, we were we were all tired. It was like towards it was late night, towards the latter part of the night. He still was like, he still was all aware, like, no. Can't do that.
I didn't mean to hit the kid so hard, but I was tired and I was irritated. And of course, like I said, if I'm responsible for everybody that's on set, you
take it seriously.
I'm gonna take it serious, because I've been hired to do that. You know what I mean? Regardless what it is, but that is my responsibility. So, like, God forbid anything happen on my dime, that's on me.
Especially
if some stupid ass kid that's trying to do whatever and be whatever. Like, no, that's not happening ever. You know what I mean?
Especially growing up in the '90s, so it happened to Brandon Lee.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
Way before.
And then there were still so many stories. Oh, it was a live bullet. Oh, it was a piece of shrapnel. Oh, it's this and that. I was just like,
it was this bad,
unfortunate.
faulty.
It's unfortunate.
And well, there's a lot of things going wrong in that shoot, dude. The guy director was that's first time doing a movie. He was usually a music director, music video director, so he didn't know about the rules, and so he didn't know the codes and everything. And then like the armor guy was like he wasn't like he was new too, so he didn't know not to use live rounds and stuff. So they said they were cutting the tips, getting the gunpowder out that way, or they're getting the tip out, so when it shot out, it was like a blank. But they're making homemade blanks, and then I saw a video on Unsolved Mystery. They said what happened was they shot a blank, and a piece of the bullet got stuck in the barrel. So when they shot the other blank, it shot the piece of shrapnel into him like a bullet.
Jeez.
So could you imagine if they did it right? We could have had way more awesome movies.
Right. And what Tech said, right? I mean, it's if you had that mentality, like, it's not going to happen on my watch. We want to have these incidents, right? Someone. I'm not saying that they're not taking their job seriously. I'm not accusing anyone, but to have that mentality, that's why I felt really safe. I was like, no, because I came in tech. I'm not gonna lie to you. I came in that set, you know, even driving to Vegas in those 4 hours, listening to my Bon Jovi, you know.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I was a little bit like, oh shit, hold on a second, you know. I'm not sure about this, but as soon as
You're
I
like,
met
I don't
Tech,
know these
Omar,
people. I don't know what kind of guns we got. I don't know what's going on.
absolutely, and I don't, you know, Omar, I felt safe right the first 5 minutes. We had a little meeting, right, Tech, with everybody, and
always the gun safety meeting, always
gun safety meeting. And you know what? I was like, no, I'm good. I'm in good hands with these.
That's probably better to be comfortable, because you want to be overly nervous, because I've seen those videos like the gun range where someone's overly nervous, and that's almost dangerous.
Oh
as
yeah,
like, I've seen videos like you're talking about.
I'm nervous, then you should be nervous. You know,
right.
what I mean?
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
in charge, and I have like questions in my voice, then be scared. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I want everybody to feel safe. You know what I mean? Like I said, I appreciate the respect and everything that you give me, Victor. I appreciate that very much. But at the same time, it's just like there's a lot more other people that I've been around that are a lot more seasoned than me, and I will always have that mentality of like, there's a lot of people that know more than I do. I'm never going to be the guy that's like, oh, I know everything. And I ask people that are like, you know, seasoned or whether when we were on set, I asked other people like Maynard, which was a cop before, or Bosco, that's, you know, military. You know, I'll know those things from people just by asking. And I'll ask, hey, did I forget anything? Because I'm not prideful to be like, oh, this is my show, this is all my rules. No,
right.
I want to learn if there's something that I am missing, so that way everybody does feel safe, and also that everybody feels included. So I mean, if we want to throw that back into the do's and don'ts, like, you know, it's one thing stay in your lane, but it's another thing to be open and, you know what I mean, welcoming to everybody else. I think that's huge as like,
so don't be a choreographer.
Yeah, exactly. Like you want to be open to people's suggestions. You want to be open up to their concerns. You want to be open up to, you know, anything that they might bring to the table as well. You know what I mean? But that's just how I am.
Yeah, you definitely want to
make sure that we're all together. You know,
you don't want that guy coming in that's the gun guy to be like, you know, like what I was like, oh yeah, I've been pistol expert for 45 years, and I can drive the cars the best. I can fly any helicopter. You know, like that Tom Segura joke about Steven Seagal talking about like he's doing that scene in the helicopter. He's like, "Oh yeah, that's a Skippy 1825." Like, how do you know? Oh, I've been helicopter pilot for about 45 years.
You know something, I know it better. Shit.
Right? Yeah,
you know and see, and Victor will tell you, like, I'll be open, I'll be cool, but the minute your ego comes out, I won't fucking play that shit, and I'll knock that in the butt real fast, and I don't really give a shit because I'm not prideful, but at the same time, it's just like, you know, I gave you the respect. I welcomed everybody with the same level. But if you want to come in and try to, like, you know, either rain on my parade or try to sit there and I'll talk to me, I was like, now you're stepping on my toes. Yeah. And I don't deal with that very well because, you know, I gave you a level of respect, but now you want to kind of look down on me. Like, there's the difference there. And I don't play that game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
Speaking of, since you're talking about Vegas, I was going to say, since we know you live in Colorado but you work in the Vegas area, this is kind of what we've kind of been asking people that work in Vegas a little bit. What do you think is the potential for the film industry to be in Vegas like it is in Atlanta now, or like down in New Orleans, or you know?
I lived in Vegas for 7 years. I only moved back to Colorado just because of COVID and like a different job offer. But I love living in Vegas because I was born and raised here in Colorado. But then with all the stuff that happened over there during that, it was hard for a lot of people. Yeah. And I was unfortunately lucky enough that I was just coming home to visit to get away from all the mess. And then I was offered a management role here down in Colorado. So that was the blessing in disguise. Nice. In a sense.
Yeah.
Like I said, I do miss Vegas, but in my time in Vegas, Vegas was definitely, well, Colorado will always be, you know, where you're born and raised, but Vegas was definitely home. You know what I mean? It was it fit my lifestyle. It fit everything that I was doing, and the people that I met there doing film and everything was great. So it was a lot more than here. But Vegas has so much potential. It's like, one, it's close to LA, which is, you know, nice.
It's 4 hours.
And, you know, it's just 3 hours away, you know what I mean? Or even Arizona or wherever. The surrounding cities aren't like here, Wyoming, Utah. You know what I mean?
So you're saying there's no film between Cheyenne or Casper, Wyoming?
Right, exactly. I was like, let's go do something freaking over there.
Yeah, exactly.
But Vegas has a lot of talent because it's like, I mean, it's entertainment capital of the world. You have all walks of life from everybody, you know what I mean? Yeah. And you have all these amazing performers. I've met so many dope Cirque du Soleil performers, you know, show performers. You know, you have other people that are amazing cameramen, you know, amazing like crew people. You have people that are like wanting to get into the business or in the industry. but they don't know how, or they just like they can't afford LA or they can't do whatever. I think Vegas is a really good melting pot for like a lot of those people and those studios and everything to kind of like bring themselves to a point where, oh yeah, we can do this, because Vegas, in all honesty, it's a networking town. It's not about what you know, it's about who you know. And the more you network there, that's the name of the game, the whole town in itself. And you know the right people, and there's a lot of good people that know a lot of different people, because there's a lot of talent and there's a lot of money.
So it's kind of like
I think
like a casino almost, or Goodfellas, where it's like if you want to get something done, you get connections, you can get a lot of movies or whatever kind of done if you talk to the right hands and feed the right, shake enough babies, I mean, kiss babies, shake hands.
You look at Stefan. Me and Stefan became really, really good friends really fast, just because a lot of things in common. And then him being acting for 8 years, and living in Jersey but acting in New York and everything like that. Like, he saw the magic, in Vegas when he got there, about a lot of different avenues and energy.
It's like this guy over here too.
I saw that. I mean, everything that I was very intrigued, with the potential of Vegas. That's why we asked this question, because we want to make sure that what I saw is what you guys feel and see, on a daily basis,
And like what Kevin and a lot of other people say, like, the cool thing about Vegas is it's super supportive. Like, everybody's not out to get each other. Like, you're out to bring each other up. Like, sure, you have your bad seeds, you have your other people. That's anywhere. Whatever you do, no matter where you go, you're not going to please everybody. And there's going to be somebody that doesn't like you for whatever the fuck reason. Yeah. You know what I mean? So you don't try to please them all. Who cares?
Yeah.
But be humble, be respectful, be yourself, and like be open, like you said. And look how good, like you even said it yourself on a couple podcasts, like the amount of like energy when we got on set. None of us knew each other, but man, did everybody click, and we all had a good time over those 5 days. Right. That whole crew of everybody that was in there, like, everybody was great.
Yeah.
Minus the bad seed the first day, whatever. We have our own.
Yeah, we're gonna have to when we get maybe a post a post show when a rap show, I'll get everything. We can just spill all the beans, right? We got so much to talk about, man. Yeah, we have so much to talk about. Yeah. No, I was thinking about Tech. I was thinking about going to Judy and Eric, right? They have their own they have their own setup for their own podcast, and I figured they're in Vegas. Why don't we all just come down? I told, hey, can we all just come down there and just have like this big podcast and just
and whatever,
have
absolutely
rap, or like a rap show, and just to uncover everything. Just but that's what I can't harp enough about it. But when I got there, obviously I was a little not nervous, but I was like, okay, I don't know who I'm meeting, but let's take it for let's just give the benefit of the doubt, right? And I was just like, first couple minutes, Omar, I was like, I felt like, wow, this is different than LA. Like you said, Tech. I mean, look. Kevin said in the previous episode that he didn't like LA, and I know what he means. Okay, because you have just a bunch of people from a bunch of different places, different type of people, but it's a cutthroat industry because I want to make it. Vegas, it was a little bit different. Now, whatever, maybe it's small or whatever.
But I was kind of surprised by that.
Yeah, but people are actually supportive. If we can get that in LA. You know what I mean? That'd be great.
Big. It's been there too long, man.
It's a big, it's an ocean with like these little piranhas that want to try to get each other.
It's got that old train thing. It takes forever to change a direction. Where
I think a lot of people from California that felt that went to Vegas to do something different because there's so many opportunities.
Good point.
You know what I mean? So they shifted from those attitudes, because I know a lot of people that actually came from Cali and said the same thing, like, it's cool over here because I get more support, you get more whatever, yada yada yada. You know what I mean? And they understand things differently. Or it's funny, because if you think about the dynamics of people, this is going to be even weirder for you, Victor. Like, outside of the acting in the film industry, like when I lived in Vegas, people can be fucking assholes. I'll be for sure. I was at the grocery store when I first moved there, and I'm from Colorado. I'm a respectful guy, whatever. You know what I mean? And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, excuse me if I bumped into you, or if I just walked past you, you know what I mean? I cut you off for looking at something. I was like, excuse me, I'm sorry. That's just my thing. I was, raised that way, to be a gentleman. Right. Yada, yada, but they would get fucking mad. They would be like, I'm like, are you kidding me?
For saying,
I thought it was
excuse
just
me?
one time.
Yeah.
I said, excuse me, I'm so sorry, da, da. And I thought it was one time, and it was multiple times I did that. And there's so many people there that were just like, mumbling shit underneath their breath. Like, you got the wrong one. I will fuck you up. I was like,
like, I'm being nice. Right. I'm being nice now, motherfucker.
Right. But I was just like, wow. But then in Colorado, dude, everybody's so freaking cordial and nice and like respectful. And it's just really humbling. You know what I mean? But
I know
it's a different pace. Different
I think,
energy,
I think here's I think in a way, LA and Vegas are similar in the fact that one, there's it's entertainment, right? It's an entertainment city, if you will, right?
Yeah.
And then there's a lot of transplants who come there for entertainment, correct? And so when you have that, it's competitive, it's cutthroat. I don't care about you. I have to kind of put this.
I gotta make it.
Or I'm
gonna make it. Yeah.
I gotta prove myself because I don't want to go back to where I was from or whatever.
And exactly.
And laugh at me and stuff.
By all means necessary. And if it means I have to be a jerk about it, then so be it, right? But that's why, you know, we've always talked about whenever we, you know, as we're older as well too. So we've seen it. We've seen the type of personalities that we don't want to be associated with. So when you have people that are, you know, just you're like, okay, you know what? I could be friends with this person. Like this person just gets it. They're just, you know, there's no ego. They know the path you're going to. It's just kind of that little telepathic sense of.
That's kind of like how me and Victor, me and him talk like we've been friends for the past 15 years, but we've truthfully really been maybe the past 5 years, I guess now. Yeah, maybe. And like we were friends through a friend through Instagram. So it's like queer how we can make, like you say, you just meet someone and you automatically just like, you can tell that or not, you know, this like, I want to be his friend and then use him to get myself up higher and like step on his face as I reach above him.
Yeah.
Like, what can you do for me type thing.
Yeah. It's like, if you can't do anything for me, or it's what have you done for me lately too? That's, believe me, in LA, I see that. It's like, whoa, okay. Where did that come from? It's like, what did I do? But you know, look, I'm, you know, when I met you, like Tech, Kev, Chase, Stefan, Gil, everyone, there's a lot of people that I haven't mentioned. It was just like, man, it was such a relief. And it was like, positive people is what you need, especially in an industry that's competitive and in an industry that you're going through that maybe your friends and family and other people don't support you in. At least you have that. And that's what keeps you going. You know what I mean?
Genuine
and it's
people,
important.
but really genuine people are hard to come by.
Absolutely. Right. Amen. Absolutely.
Anything,
Tech. One last thing, okay? I want to know what's next for you, man? What do you have lined up, bro?
Man, I know we've talked about the other project after you guys saw The Hunted, which was based off, you know, the fan film The Last of Us. Like I said, that was written by, you know, Jackie Gahardy, my stunt friend that's in LA and everything. So that was a really successful thing. We did another short before that called Onion Soup, which is based off of like Warrior, you know, HBO Warrior. That was like our love letter to everything when it came out because we loved the show. And before they even announced that they were doing season 3, there was such a big petition about everybody wanted season 3. Everyone wanted season 3. They're like, yo, why don't we just do a short to just kind of like, you know, segue that just to show that our love for this thing, you know what I mean? So we did. And then during us shooting that, they announced that they were going to do season 3. So this is kind of like our thing, you know, to put out there. But we have a big premiere for The Hunted, Onion Soup, and it's another film that my friend Alberto did. March 30th. So March 30th will be a big red carpet event down at the Millennium Phantom Bar in Vegas.
In Vegas. Okay, cool. Okay.
Yep. So we'll do that way, and then we'll see where that goes from there. And then Showdown at Neon Sun,
baby.
I still love that. I love that fucking title, man. The title.
You know, so
every time I hear it,
you know, so it's been great, and I've been honored as the main villain on that one. Which is, you know, my first feature film for a main role.
Nice.
And then just to have, you know, Kevin, great friend of mine, just to be, you know, one of the leads on there. Stefan, have Chris Marishiro on there with me, you know, like all these people, and then meeting all you guys on there. Like, I am super amped and stoked because, like, everybody's been talking about on all their podcasts, everybody that's been involved in this, like, we see like the artistry in there that Gil has brought. We see like this unique story. We see like this, you know, to me, what I tell Gil all the time, like, dude, in all honesty, like you hear so many like Harry Potter stories, you know, where she's writing stories in the car, you know, she was homeless and look how big she made and blew up. Like, to me, like that's kind of how I feel about where he's at. Like, he's put all his eggs into this basket and he's such a humble guy. And like, I was so blessed and thankful to have met him. But what he's doing with this is like second to none. So I'm just like, dude, whatever you need, like, let's go, let's get this done. Yeah. And so I'm focused on that, but also like there's a lot of works and a couple more features with the people that I'm working with in Vegas that we're working on right now. So me and Chris are actually working on a different script too that's gonna be action packed and like pretty good. And then there's some other scripts in the works that hopefully I'll be involved in with them too as well. So it's trending, it's going.
It's coming
man.
up. Yeah, 2022 looks really good, and then some, right?
I'm hoping so. Like I said, I can't sit there and be scared of age or be scared of experience on a lot of things.
Not anymore,
I gotta look at it a little different.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
When you got Keanu over 50, Harrison Ford back in early 2000s, 70 years old, doing his own stunts still.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm just like, I still got some time. I'm still youthful in my age. You know what I mean? Like,
right. Yeah. And like you said, was it
Asian don't raisin?
Yeah.
Asian don't raisin. Look, I said this before. I mentioned John Madden, the late great John Madden. He, in his Hall of Fame speech, he said, someone asked him, how did you enjoy your work? He goes, I didn't have to work a day in my life because I loved it. It was not work at all. It was my passion. And, as far as we talk about age, because it's a passion, I don't look at it like, look, man, I've been, how many times did I go back and forth to Vegas just for whatever we shot, right? I drove
just a quick scene and you're just like, oh, I'm here, I'm there.
4 times, Tech. That's 8 times back and forth.
That's 8 hours.
That's eight times 4 is what, 32, right? And then some. But like I said, it was nothing because I wanted to do it. It was just fun. The people were great. It was worth it. I put my 80s, 90s songs, Bon Jovi, Heart, everything, man. Cheap Trick, and then boom, I'm there in Vegas.
Please tell me you had some Karate Kid in there too.
Peter Cetera, I did, yeah. I'm not talking. He's probably not the other one, but Peter Cetera. It's a love steam, but hey,
I meant me, man. You're the best.
Oh no! It was more like the low, low feel. Yeah, it's like the Coast One. Never mind. It's like that, 80s.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
I'm weird like that, guys. It's
you could do the Stan Bush song too, man.
Yeah, but hey, it keeps it going.
Yeah, right.
Once in a while.
No G-Funk, no G-Funk era.
Well, at least it's 90s though. I love how you said just none of this stuff today. Yeah. I mean the 90s, yeah, definitely.
You didn't put no G-Funk on.
Man. Naughty by Nature.
No Uncle Snoop.
I was just like, you from Cali. I was like, no.
I gotta say, right?
Shoot, man. Yeah.
No Wu-Tang. What the hell?
Digable Planets. Come on,
guys. It's East Coast, whatever.
Yeah. But Tech, hey man, thank you so much. I'm looking forward to working with you again. And
appreciate you guys, man.
Omar.
I was telling you, I'm hopefully. I was gonna say, hopefully that script that I'm working on, we can get all of. I already got Victor and we got Joe, so maybe we can get you, Tech, and Kevin too, maybe.
Yeah, we're
always interested, man. So let's
it's good. It's kind of close in the same vein. Well, it's not exactly. It's close in the vein as in when I was thinking of the movie, it kind of feels like Drive meets. I guess kind of like John Wick meets Drive with more kung fu and more of the indie love story kind of thing. So it's got.
I love Drive. Drive was very.
I love Drive. Yeah, that was.
People know about Drive.
Yeah,
that was probably one of Mark Dacascos' best choreography as far as fighting goes.
Oh yeah, that one too.
Yeah, with Kadeem. Oh yeah. That one too.
I forgot. Yeah, I love that.
With Kadeem Hardison.
Hardison. Oh, you're talking about the newer Drive.
Ryan Gosling Drive.
Both though. But the one.
Both. No,
the one that you talk about. Yeah.
I'm actually that was cool because I love that. I seen a movie, but I thought I was like one of the few people that not few people, but I feel like fellow martial art movie heads would know about it. And so like when you said, I was kind of it took me back because I wasn't thinking about that one. Yeah. And then when you said, I'm like, holy shit, he knows some like deep cut movies because he actually.
Oh, bro.
Yeah. I just remember the scene.
Shows our age.
Right. I just remember the scene. Yeah, I just remember the scene with Mark and Kadeem Hardison. They were driving off. They were doing this, but they were just kind of insane. I don't know if you remember that scene, but it was just like, they were just it was just a brotherhood, and that's what it is. You know what I mean?
It's like pre-rush hour, pretty much, man.
Yeah, pre-rush hour. Yeah, I was like,
yeah.
Who can forget Toby Wong? You'll never forget that name. He was fucking badass. Like, hands down.
Yeah, jumpsuit, man.
Exactly. But Tech, I think Tech, I got to work with you. I know Omar and Joe. Just by Instagram and everything. They're big fans of you, and so am I, man. I mean, I
appreciate
love working with you, man. Just love your energy, just love your discipline, your work ethic, and professionalism and love and passion for this industry. And I love learning. I'm a history teacher. Whenever I learn from my students, it's a blessing. Whenever I learn in this industry from everybody, especially everyone, great people that love to share, it's a blessing for me too. You know what I mean? And again, that's why I love this industry, and love meeting people alike and genuine people, and that's what you are. After listening to and people watching this, people know why the others have raved about you. Just the knowledge you have, and everything that you can contribute, and everything you help me even and everyone with.
And it's not because you bribed them either. No.
No. Right? But exactly.
You just came up with like your little wad in your hand, like, hey, make sure you tell me how good about me on the podcast.
Right. No, I was surprised when I watched the podcast. I enjoy you guys' show. It's very, I like the interaction and everything. It's not something that's just boring, or it's not something that's talking about off topic stuff, but it's real life talk like what we're doing tonight. And that's great.
And that's what we always want to do.
Yeah,
that's great. So I've been watching all the most episodes as much as I can with everybody, and then
like that's one thing we
a couple of them, I'm like, oh, thank you. I was like, damn, okay, I didn't even know you were gonna sit there and throw me out there. And
that's cool. Kind of one thing me and Victor talked about too, is we wanted to be serious about certain things, but also have fun. But then also obviously we don't want to talk about anything else. So we don't talk about politics and all that crap.
No,
it's all about
like
that's just a minefield we don't want anyone to get into.
Yeah.
That's just like I don't really get into that much anyway, and like we always want to keep it where anybody, no matter whatever side they lean or stand on or wherever they come from, they can get into it. And if they like martial arts, they like comedy, they like all this kind of stuff, they can watch our show and enjoy it you don't even have to even be a martial artist. They could just be a film or a movie guy, and they might hear something from like say you or anybody else and be like, maybe I should. They always wanted to be an actor.
Yeah. All in all, Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. Sorry. I was gonna say you might inspire somebody. You never know. Like you can touch one person's heart, you can touch 100 people's hearts. But if somebody's listening and is like, "Damn, I needed to hear that today," or "Oh, that's a good point," you know what I mean? Whatever it may be, that's the point of like why this is great.
Kind of like what you said too, when the guy, I don't know, when it said like movie tempted you by saying, "Hey, why don't you be Kato?" And you get back into the rhythm, and they're like, "Oh, actually, you're too buff." After you got all that training in, and it's like. And then maybe we woke you up to like you said, you don't have, there's no age limit on when you become an actor, especially nowadays anymore. You can, maybe someone like in our age group that can be like, okay, before I thought maybe I'm in my 30s, I missed my one chance to be a movie star, but now you can come even older. You can be 70 and start your career and have 20 good years of movies, playing someone's
playing
grandpa,
a different role, playing a different piece. Yeah.
Exactly.
You know what is a good thing if you wanted to ask me a word of advice for anybody watching is here's the thing. I talked about when I was younger and my good prime as far as, my skill levels and the tricks and everything, right? Mm-hmm. But I think if things were to kick off at that younger age, for me back then, my mentality was different. I don't think I would have been able to handle certain circumstances or had the same mindset going into the industry that I would. I could have ended up being one of those cocky people in LA. Like, no, I got to make it. I got to do that. I'm almost 30. I'm going to be too old. You know what I mean? But as I'm older now, sure, my skill sets and levels, level of skills are a little different. But with the mentality I have now, as far as going into the acting, like you appreciate, and this is life in general, the older you get, you appreciate more of the little things. Yeah. And you understand more of what you want and what you don't want and what you're going to deal with and not deal with. And you're going to be able to separate a lot more ego from, you know what I mean? And it being confident versus cocky.
Right. That's different.
That's a huge thing there's a huge thing there that a lot of these younger cats really need to understand and work on, because a lot of them come in super cocky. We were growing up our age. I think a lot of us are more understanding of respect your elders. Exactly. But you see a lot of the new generation is you guys have lost a lot of respect. Yeah. A lot of self, understanding as far as,
I got one example.
Common sense is different now. And it's just the respect level is just dude. And all the stuff you see on the internet anymore, it's just it's mind boggling. You know what I mean? It's just damn, out of control. But at the same time, it's just there's a rhyme or reason, everything. Everything happens for a reason. So whatever it may be, you know what I mean? That's what I said. You got to kind of keep humble, understand what's going on. Respect is a huge thing. And that's why I have Bushido tatted on me. It's just respect, honor, loyalty, integrity, benevolence, truth. And, you know what I mean? All that stuff means a lot to how we're brought up. And I think that's a huge thing as far as what we talked about as being a martial artist versus a fighter. You know what I mean? to understand those disciplines and like our upbringing is supposed to relay out in life and how we attack, our goals and our dreams and everything.
Tech, hey, appreciate me and thank you so much.
Thank you
so
man.
much
thank you guys.
for everything. And I can't wait to work with you again. And I know the boys as well too. And listening, I hope anyone, and all in all, this podcast is just really to exude positivity and people to just, hey, come on into this and live your dream like we do. And all the advice that from your journey, from your experiences, man, it's priceless. So, thank you again from the bottom of my heart. And, appreciate it. Thank you so much, man. Tech, blessing. Thank you for myself, for Omar. We're the Darker Tanned Agents. Thank you so much.
Thank you, man.
See you later, guys. Thank you, guys.